YouTube would get on the TikTok train here. The tube that is you, because I definitely like this angle better here than here. But you know what? This works. And I think I got it. All right. So please head on over. I've opened up the live stream. You know where. Come on in the room, say hi, and let's cultivate your intuition together. And I'll just keep knocking the camera like 2-3 times over here. There we go. We've got friends coming over. So you are heading over from here to here, from the ticky-tacky to the tube that is you, waving, saying hello. Hi, everyone. Our room is filling up. I'll be ending this live stream on the other app, and we'll be filling up here. I'm watching the numbers. So this number should be going down, and this one should be going up. You've got your pen, your piece of paper. I've got my notes and my crunchy notebook here. My mic is working, looks like. Not bad for taking a break here. So if you're over here on the ticky-tacky, you're now following me over to the tube that is you, the Huggable Healer, where we're going to be live streaming. Yes. So we're live streaming, talking about your intuition and cultivating your intuition, and 5 key C's to that process. And one that can be a hindrance and that I want you to consider. So thank you. So looking what my moderator says, we're emptying this room here and we're heading over to here. So far we have 19 friends over here. We have about 50 over here. So go ahead and come on over from this room and head over here. And if you've made it over here, say hello, give a wave, put your favorite emoji in the chat. Maybe write something that you're thankful for, an attitude of gratitude. Give your body a little stretch. So whatever you need to do to say good morning, say hello, and we'll end this other stream here. Oh, of course, this is the guard. Of course, calls come in right at the same time. All right, my friends, it looks like we've got it. All right, I'm ending on the Tiki-Taki appy. See you over on the tube that is you, the Huggable Healer live streaming. If you can't find it right now or you're not headed over there, don't worry. It will repost this and you can rewind it, rewatch it, all that fun stuff, which is why we're headed over there. So I'm going to count you out with love. Good, the numbers are going down on the Tiki-Taki. Perfect. Here we go. 5, I love you, love you. 4, I love you, love you. 3, I love you, love you. 2, I love you, love you. 1, I love you, love you. I'll see you over there. Take care. I just don't want to make you guys hang out too long. However many of us came over is exactly who was supposed to come over. So welcome, everyone. Welcome over. Thank you, friends. You made it. And what I like about this is, again, if folks can't be here for the whole thing, they know that they'll be able to rewatch it. Or if they come in the middle, you can rewind it. So welcome in, everyone. Thank you for telling me what you're thankful for. I love to say good morning to every one of you. I'm going to give a wave. Good morning, a little bit of familiar faces in the spaces. Good morning. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Heather, Stephanie, good morning, and Laura. Marlene, good morning. Miss J, I love it. Miss J, great emojis. Good morning, Rob. Okay, did I get everybody? Rebel, she's saying good morning. She's waiting for that kiwi. She wants the kiwi stuffy, everyone. Faye, hello, good morning. Melissa, Laura, Liz, Heather, Tracy, April, and Savannah. Did I get everybody? I think I got everybody. Good morning. If I didn't, truly, it's my eyes, Deborah. Good morning. All right. Everyone who's here, good morning. Thank you for popping over. Can I just say thank you so much for helping the transition here? Liz, good morning. Transition over to this platform so that we have this as a creative tool for us. So let's get into it. Let's get started. Let's go over something to consider. I'll close the door now that Rebel's walking in and out and sees my son. And let's talk about this a little bit. And I think the reason that we're almost, it's like a restart in some ways for us, even though we've been working on intuition. If you've been on these lives with me and you've been building and developing your intuition, sometimes something becomes so familiar that we maybe, I find, I should say, that I almost forget the whys of why it's working sometimes and why it's not. And I thought it was interesting this morning when I was sitting there meditating, grounding, just filling my heart full of love for spirit. It just started to kind of download. Like, let's talk about this a little bit. For some folks, this is new. They haven't been with us the whole time. But for other folks, sometimes we kind of forget the why. And then we can then forget why it's not working. And being able to be reminded of those little key ahas so they can get back in the flow. I think that makes sense, and especially after having that accident, the mechanics of mediumship or developing intuition. So it really gave me that time to go, how do I get back into this again? How do I get back into that flow after injury? And I know some of us, like, or our life gets busy, or we've had some big disruption. How do we go back to using our intuition? Or we tried to lean into it, and we noticed that there's just something missing, and it can be hard to remember. So I thought this is really neat to have this download and for us as something to consider. So if you've got a pen out, let's talk about the 5. Here we go. The 5 C's to helping to cultivate your intuition, that inner knowing, the inner GPS, that inner guidance. And the first one was compassion. Coming from a place of compassion. Why would compassion be important for developing or cultivating your intuition? Does anyone want to share? Good morning, Melissa. Why would that be the first C? I'm curious on your thoughts. And there's no wrong answers. It's, what do you feel? Why is compassion an important part of cultivating your intuition? Stepping outside of our own ego, right? Because love that. Because your ego tends to be the thing that stops us, right? That tends to get in our way. You're giving space for others outside of yourself. If you're not thinking about others, then you're not tuned into the environment. I love this. To give yourself love so we don't put so much pressure on ourselves. Nice. Right? And this says, or yourself. If we have compassion, we're not judging. There we go. When we're coming from a place of compassion, we're not coming from that egoic frontal lobe. Compassion comes from where? Like, where does compassion come from? Where do you find it? In your body. Where do we say compassion comes from? Serving the greater good. Compassion for no self-expectations. Where does that compassion come from? Does it come from your mental mind? Where do we find that? Here. Right? Your higher self, your heart. I find mine in my heart, my higher self. And intuition is not your logical mind. Intuition is in your feeling space. So if you're lacking compassion for yourself or others in a moment or in a scenario and in a space, you're likely inhibiting your intuition from kicking in. And the crown chakra, yes, right? That higher self, that love. So recognizing that, am I being compassionate in this moment with myself? If my intuition feels blocked, if I feel like I'm not making that connection with my intuition, am I having compassion for the situation, for myself, or others involved? Something to consider. I would say heart, but to me, hearts are more like our souls. Nice. So it comes from our soul, it comes from our spirit. It doesn't come from our egoic frontal lobe mental mind. My solar plexus and third eye. That's where you feel it, right? Your inner self. Everything everyone's talking about is their inner. It's not external. It comes in from that place of love and that feeling place where your feelings are. And that's where you're going to start that connection. And the second one, so the second C we're going to move into, for me, it comes from my gut mostly. I love that. Like, it comes internally. It comes from that inner source of, from more than just that mental mind. And then, so the second C is courage, our inner knowing. That's how we're connected back to our intuition, is with that compassion. And so the second one is courage. Why would you have to have courage to connect with your intuition? Why would it matter? Why do I have to be courageous to connect to your intuition? This one was like a poof for me. When Spirit gave me this, I was like, ooh, that kind of stung a little. Tell me your thoughts. Stepping out of fear, trust. Courage to be wrong or hear things that are hard. Courage is is needed to trust your instinct. Nice. Yes. And you know what I heard? The courage is that you can't, if you are working with your intuition and your inner self and your inner knowing, the only one you have to look to internally, you can't blame other people. Accountability is high. And a lot of the reasons why folks have a hard time trusting their intuition is because we've been programmed to trust others, because it also helps us deflect. So you got to be willing to be wrong. You have to learn what you need, even if it's hard or scary. Exactly. For courage, I have to trust the divine. Fear, as Matt says, is false evidence appearing real. Yes, because you need to let yourself be vulnerable, which takes the most courage, right? Yes, the courage to be vulnerable. Love that. So true, right? Oof, I know you're like, oh, ow. So that's something to consider. I can't blame it on others. I've got to be willing to be wrong. I've got to be willing to sit with myself and really see myself for who I am and what I bring, and how I'm connecting and what's going on around me, and being, and being okay with that. And that's where it goes back to that compassion. Can I have compassion for wherever I'm at and whatever that growth is? And do I have the courage to have the compassion? Oh, I love Liz. I'm so glad. I'm so glad this is helpful. So we're going to go to the next one. I want you to know the another C. So our third C is curious. And we've talked about this a lot, right? In order to build that inner knowing, the inner GPS, in order to cultivate your intuition, think about your curiosity more. Think about being in that curious place. How often do you find yourself just going through your day and following the routine and just getting it done and missing the chance to stop and be a little bit curious? Because then you're being open to more information than just what's being thrown at you. Curious comes internal. It's it's internal, right? Versus external stimulation coming at you. Curiosity is you being the driving force. You're engaging, you're looking, you're exploring, you're open, you're present minded. You're being present with what's going on around you rather than just going through the routine. Something to consider. What do you think about that? What about you? What do you find that's helpful for you? Being here in the now. It really does. It brings you present, right? You're not on your shopping list. You're not on your to-do list. You're curious. And it's funny because I say curious and then it's like curious, wondering, and then open to what comes in, right? Because there's an openness with that. Oh, I'm curious. So curiosity is creating, cultivating that openness. And it allows you to pick up on those subtle messages that spirit's bringing you, or that you may have missed otherwise, or it helps you kind of tune in where you want instead of where maybe you just automatically do. An open mind to a new and different possibilities and being excited about it. Curiosity also requires that courage. It does. And the compassion. It all goes together, doesn't it? It's so neat how spirit works, pulls all this together for us. And then the other C, which I know, I feel like if I were to, as soon as I say this, you're going to be like, yes, because this is what Hannah is like every time we come on a live and we talk about intuition, we do intuition development and growth. This comes up every single time. I wonder if you can guess what this C is, because this comes up every single live. Are you willing to be wrong? What C am I thinking of? I'm curious if you all know what C comes up constantly on our lives when we do these intuition development, regularly. What would that C be? Let me see if we can ask and see what you all come up with. Okay. Oh, I'm a medium. Ask me how is here. Is that my Dana or Matachewy? Hi, my love. I do like that one. I'm going to see. If I see it in the comments, I'll say it. What C is it? Ooh, some of these are great though. Like, and by the way, if any of these C's that friends are saying resonate with you, add them to your notes. Oh, see. These C lists could be very long because I think many of these are very valid. But there's one I'm looking for. Everyone's doing so good. I love these. I want to write these down myself. Like, I'm just, wait a minute. Where's my pen? Excuse me, Hannah. Teach as you preach, or preach as you teach, or do as you say. I love these. Okay. I'm loving this. Okay. I've got to write these down. You're going to do it for me. I love this. So here's what everyone's saying, and I love this. Correct, consider, closure, look, connect, correction, consciousness, change, claim it. I'm also about the C words that are earlier. I know I found that C word too, which could be the block one, but I'm like, we can't say that. Although this is 18 and over, so confidence. Okay, all right. Curate, complete. You guys, okay, you are a plethora of C words here. I love this. All right, I'm going to give you the one. Even these are all phenomenal. All right, you're going to be like, this one is not as interesting as your guys' language. Collaborate. Oh, dang, y'all are good. But you know what it is? Consistency. How much do we say? Intuition is it's a muscle, right? Right. Good morning. It's the muscle. You made it. Welcome in. And great. Then the best part is, Natasha, is you can always stream. You can rewind the live stream so that you can watch it from the beginning as well. But it's your muscle, and it's the consistency. Consistently checking in with your intuition, allowing yourself to have space. I'm not talking about obsessively. I'm not talking about compulsively. This is not about compulsivity. This is about consistency. So allowing yourself the time and energy in space to work with your intuition playfully, going to Matt and Dana. I'm a medium. Ask me how's in the chat right now. If you don't know that, just see you can follow. You can click on it right away. Boop, boop. You can start following their live stream. You can, their YouTube channel so that you can watch their videos, but also have a great class that they offer on intuition development that you can go to on Sundays, I think it is. Matt and Dana, put in the comments if you'd like. I'd love for folks to know that they can go to your class as well as a great teaching tool. And you come onto the live. So there you can go to a class where it's regular and consistent. That's why classes are so great, because they hold you accountable. Or you come on these lives and you join in. But it's cultivating that consistency of working with your intuition, holding space for it. Thank you, Sacred Dreamer. MattandDana.com. This is for anybody who rewatches this live stream. It's MAT and Dana, DANA.com. Okay. So the consistency, something that you work with the familiarity of it. And I can say, so story time, right? Let me give you an example of this. In fact, that's what's the phone call coming through, which I love. And I'll have to make sure I grab this morning. Don't let me forget, sidebar, of trusting your intuition. So yesterday, I took a nap. I don't ever take a nap, but I felt it in my body, right? There was something about Hannah, go lay down. That little intuitive, like, go lay down. It's not what I would normally do. It's not part of my routine, but it was just this, like, go lay down, go take a rest. I napped so deep, like it's the deepest nap. And it was so needed, right? And I didn't criticize. I wasn't like super critical of myself. I had compassion for myself. Like, oh, I need a nap. I need this nap. There's something here. So I went ahead and I took a great nap. And then at that point, of course, you guys know Rebel, Miss Wiggly Butt's like, we got to get out, Mom. We got to get out. 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 And it was totally raining. And so I go to pull out of my driveway, and I have the weeds now, since I haven't been feeling good, that are taller than there's like mini skyscrapers in the front of my property right now. It's embarrassing, but that's what they look like. And it's because I haven't been well. And the rains are making these weeds oh so happy. So thistles are super tall. Doesn't really matter if it was aesthetics, but it's actually a safety hazard, because my house is on such a busy road, and people, especially there's a school down the road, people come flying down my road. If you can't see around when you're pulling out, it's a higher likelihood of accidents. So we really try to keep up on this. And Mr. Hannah had mentioned a couple times that we really need to get some out here to get these trimmed, because it's right next to the really busy road. It's it's a very precarious place to go out there and cut weeds, and I'd rather have a professional do it anyway, just for safety. So it's so interesting. That was on my mental mind as I go to pull out, right? So I'm opening up, like, I really need to, I put this intention out. I really need to get that taken care of. I need to get somebody out here. I don't know a whole lot of people. People have been busy because we've had all these storms. I need to put that out there. So it's raining when I'm thinking this, right? So I go when I go to drive to go take Rebel to an area to play, and I have no peace. And I can't figure it out. I'm like, why don't I have any peace about this? Nothing big. It wasn't like, no peace, don't go this way, go that way. No, it's subtle. Subtle, like, keep driving. So I take Rebel and I keep driving down the road, and I go and wander around. This is traffic a little bit, and I drove down to this other part of town. I thought, the only thing about this is I'm curious why I'm feeling pulled this way, because it looks like the rain clouds are a little thicker over here. What are we doing? But I really just was following my inner GPS of it. So we pull over in this one little section, and I park the car, and I thought, oh, we'll walk up this one path. Like, there's a park down there. Perfect. So I put on my raincoat, put on Rebel's raincoat. She's freaking adorable in it. We head not 200 yards from the car at that, and I hear in the rain. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. I'm Hannah. You're going to get the noise. It was a weed whacker. And I look, and there's a truck, and it's what I haven't seen before, out in the rain, and the guy's weed whacking, and he's got all of these equipment tools, and that's what he does. I didn't, in this, usually people call off, or they won't come out and do yard work, right? Because it's raining. And the way that I walked, and the way that Spirit led me, I went and got the guy's card. And that's who was calling through this morning before we started this live. And there you go. Just like that. I'm going, go Spirit. Something so little, but yet so powerful. When you just use your intuition, allow it to guide you, it will be the littlest things that are big things. So I love it. I said to tell you guys about that. That was super cool yesterday. So compassion, curiosity, we've got courage and consistency. Yeah, I was in the weeds. Exactly. Oh, okay. So then let's go to the other ones. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 5 of them. So we've got one more. And what's the last one? I'll just give it to you. Creativity. We've talked about this one before. Creativity. Creativity is the gateway to connecting with your intuition, right? Because you're getting out of your mental mind and you're allowing that energy to just flow. And I was really thinking about this because how many folks here have been told or ever believed they're not creative? Have you ever in your life had somebody tell you you're not a creative person? You don't have that creativity, or thought that about yourself. I'm not creative. What do you mean? Or I'm not as creative. And then you start comparing yourself, right? And what do I say? The stealer of all joy is comparison. Me for sure. Right? We get told that. We get our it gets kind of taken away from us. And we believe that. We've been taught that. We've been believed that. It's been conditioned out of us. And then being able to lean into our creativity can feel foreign to us. We don't even know what that means or what does that look like. So in the chat, what do you do to cultivate your creativity? What are some of the things you do? Someone's watching this video who's like, I wouldn't even know where to start, Hannah. Well, what would I do? Especially if they've been fed that message externally. What are some of the things that you do to cultivate your creativity? 100%, right? We've been told that. It's not something, it's something someone else said externally that we internalized, because we're all creative. We're all spirit. We're all energy. We all have imagination. If you have imagination, which we all do, you can tap into your creativity. Or when people use creative to discredit our intuition, yes, try something a different way. That's it. Creativity can be just shifting, walking a different way, like driving a different way. Like, that's creative. Yeah, drive a different path. When I go on my walks, I walk a different walk. So I'm inviting in that again, and I can cultivate that creativity through curiosity and the courage to try something that I might totally fail at. When you see this art project behind me that I did, I have to tell you, I didn't know what I was doing. And I have created Let me show you something, because we're gonna get real. I have created many, and many of us don't see that. Like with my son, many of pieces that will never go anywhere or be anything. And it's not. And I'm not. I'm just not. I don't. I have family that are amazing. So I'm not gonna skip over. That are amazing artists that draw these fantastic. I mean, like art pieces, and they're incredible. And if I used their creativity as a gauge for my own, I would think I'm not a creative person. And this ended up coming as through with sweat and tears, and I didn't know how I even felt about it, if I even liked it. And I kept looking to other people for reassurance whether I was doing a good job on it. Like, does this look good? And then I recognized how self-critical I was being, worrying about that. And like, why don't I just let this flow? Why do I care? Why am I so invested? But just let me roll with this creativity. And then I ended up creating something that now I love. But I would have missed that opportunity if I hadn't had the courage. Right, coloring in a color book. I love this. I picture things in my mind, then do it, even if it's wrong. Yes, because it's not, remember, it's not the ending. It's not the end product. It's the process, not the product. So I love the idea of coloring in a coloring book. I really love that. Yes, we aren't going to be masters from the start. We're going to have a lot of mess ups. We learn so much through the mess ups. I try to remember that everything old is new again, and then whatever I create becomes my own in the end. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Right? We don't have to be perfect. Why do we think it has to be perfect? Music, beautiful. I love to get into the dirt and garden. Yes, or stare up at the trees. Grounding speaks to my creativity. See, this is going to help somebody who says, what do I do? How am I creative? I'm telling you, going into a kids section. I say this a lot, but it really, go to the kids section of the bookstore, go to the kids books and reading those books, going back to the basics, looking through the artwork, listening to the stories in your mind. That's one of those tools that I love that are creative. A great way to go in that creative mind. Engage with your inner child. Create a food dish maybe that you've been curious about and you haven't been sure if you wanted to try it. Being willing to have it be disastrous. Who cares? Keep up that creativity and the consistency of leaning into your creativity, right? All of this is cultivating your imagination, which is that gateway to your intuition. I don't any to set intentions, to have compassion for self, to have courage to receive creativity, then to be consistent more with my intuition more. Yes, even make silly ticky tackies. I love that. Right? Like, and put them out there. And or keep them in your drafts forever if you want, or set them to private, or send them to your friends. Be willing to be silly. Now let's talk about what can crush your cultivating your intuition. Let's talk about the crushing. And I'm sure there's more than one, but I want to talk about the one that I find crushes intuition. I said it already. So what C word would crush your intuition? Let's see what you guys come up with. What's the word? So that's definitely the definition. Second guessing. What's going to crush your creativity? What's going to, crush you cultivating your intuition? Dilly got it. Yeah. That's why I said there could be two. It's criticism. It's criticism and comparing. Oh, can't. Oh, I love that. But I can't do it. Can't do it. The one I had is being critical. Being critical. Let me hit you with this one, because this is the one I'm going to give you another ouch. I'm going to give you another little ouch. Get your shoulders out. Give them a little rub. I'm going to give you a little ouch. If you are highly critical of yourself or others, if you are highly critical of yourself or others, and you're allowing the criticism of others to come in, or you take on the criticism of the others and you spread that, that is a great way to crumble, crush, inhibit your intuition development. And why? Why is that? Why would it do that? If I'm critical of myself, I don't trust myself. Because Rebel's scratching at the door. She's like, "Are you done yet, Mom?" Why? Why would criticism and being self-critical, why would that matter? It limits the limitless. Yeah, you're putting limits. Exactly. Criticism is to make you small. It's to, right? We're losing that expansiveness. It creates self-doubt. So then now we don't trust. We're not trusting. We're going to second guess ourselves because you're telling yourself no. Self-doubt. And I love it. I heard it said, and it says it's criticism. Spirit doesn't, because it's a difference as we talked about. It puts pressure on you. Oh, I love that. There's critiquing, right? It's okay for spirit to critique, but criticism is not in love. And your intuition, your self-development, your growth is coming from a very loving place. We started with that compassion. And there is nothing compassionate about being critical. So I want you to consider it's okay to critique. It's okay that we need to grow. And sometimes things need to be brought to our attention so that we can cultivate it in a new way. But if you're coming from being hypercritical of yourself and others, that's likely something that you've been taught, you've been trained, you've been conditioned, and that you might need to consider doing some work. We talk about that shadow work, but internal work of why am I being so critical in this moment? Why am I needing someone else's approval? Why am I thinking that I'm not an artist? Where is this coming from? Let me get my journal out and dig in. Why am I blocking my intuition with this train of thought? Because this stream of thought's coming from somewhere else. It's external. I've even possibly internalized it. Most likely have. And that's blocking me. So it's something to consider. So what do you think? That is the gist. That is our check-in for today, for you to cultivate your intuition, to lean into those 5 and recognize when that criticism, and I love that, and the comparison is coming in. And again, comparing, you're being critical. You're comparing, you're using your critical mind, the I, to compare yourself. You're coming from a place of a critical and criticizing yourself for that other person. And that's why you're even comparing to begin with. So tell me what you think. Mine comes from a lot of childhood trauma. Yes. Right? Knowing where it comes from. This comes from that. And then sometimes I recognize that. And then then I go, well, what do I need? I'll sit with that. When I find where that criticism is coming from, then I go, well, then what do I need? What do I need for myself so that I can lean in? And then I allow my intuition to come in, because I said the intention, help me, Spirit, with this. That great. I'm not coming from a place of being critical. I'm not going to condemn myself. I'm going to go, ooh, I'm being super critical right now. Okay, where does this come from? All right, my inner child. Okay, what do I need? And then I'm going to set that invitation, and I'm going to say, Spirit, help me understand. Help me understand what I need in this moment. Help me what I need. Maybe sometimes I just need a hug. Maybe I just need to pause. Maybe I need to come back and be present-minded. Maybe I'm being fearful of the past, worried about the future. Maybe something's going on. Let me come back and be present-minded. And sometimes just even recognizing it, in itself is powerful. And I take a deep breath. And I cleanse myself, releasing that thought, releasing those feelings. And then I try to be very present with what's going on around me, to come back and be present-minded. And then I move forward. And if it comes back up again, I'll revisit again. Journal, write, and or recognize and remove. So I hope that helps. I hope this empowers you guys and gives you something to consider. Oh, I'm so glad. April, I love divine timing. Recognize it, then work on the 5 C's to change it. Yes, I love that, Deb. Thank you. I try to use the 4 agreements each day. Be impeccable with my words. Don't take things personal. Don't make assumptions, and always try my best. Laura, I love that. When I get a strong gut feeling, I have to go with it immediately, or it's convoluted by muddy thoughts. Oh, I love it. And be willing to be wrong, right? Have the courage of, and I could still be wrong, but I'm willing to try. I'm willing to be curious. I'm willing to be compassionate. All of those things. We can think about constructively criticizing ourselves as if it were someone else we love. We are sometimes not nice to ourselves, right? Yeah, we're not as constructive with our words to ourselves that we'd be to others. It's true. So the internal dialogue of how can I receive this, or in a way that's less, because spirit isn't going to give us criticism. They'll critique us, but they're not going to be hyper cruel to us. If there's cruelty in that, then you know it's not spirit. You know it's externally and it's been internalized. And then you can just recognize it and do what you can to release it. Sometimes going for a walk, again, breath, yoga, uh, Reiki, just honoring that feeling and letting it go and not holding on to it, putting my focus on other things, all of those ways, whatever your techniques are, so that you can move through that. And just be willing to know that while it is work, because we talk about this with the consistency, it gets easier. It's like lifting something over and over again daily. That cup is going to get lighter, and I can fill it up and I can put more in it and I'm still able to lift it, right? So that consistency builds that muscle for you. That's right. You don't have to be perfect. I'm putting that on my fridge. Oh, I love you guys. Okay. I'm glad we did it. 36 minutes. Friends hanging out. Thank you for the likes. Thank you. I hope that you can revisit this. Please make sure you put comments afterwards. After this gets posted, I would love for you all. Please feel free to comment so this goes out into the algorithm to help others. And then again, if you like these videos, if you're new or you just happen to find this one, you can follow this channel. I'd appreciate it. It's the Huggable Healer. I'm Hannah. I'm a medium. I love helping, I guess, intuitive coach. I could take that word to help folks develop their intuition and empowering them and giving them something to consider. Like I say, take what resonates, let go what doesn't, but be kind to yourself and to others. I love you guys. Thank you. This was such a wonderful morning, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you all. So here we go. 5, I love you, I love you. 4, I love you, I love you. 3, I love you, I love you. 2, I love you, I love you. 1, I love you, I love you. We're going to end this stream. Have a great day.